Jeff Newman is a world-class mentalist and magician who's been blowing minds across the globe from Canada to the UK, Australia, and beyond. With a mix of psychology, sleight of hand, and just the right amount of showmanship, he crafts interactive experiences that leave audiences equal parts amazed and baffled. Now he's bringing his mind-bending show back to Estevan. He'll be performing on May 1st at the Estevan Comprehensive School Elecs Theater, part of the Estevan Arts Council's 2025 Estevan Concert Series. It's the final show of the season 2, by the way. And if you're into mystery illusion and those how did he do that moments, this is one you won't want to miss. Jeff, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Now, I assume since you're a mentalist, you probably already know the questions I'm about to ask, but I'm going to ask them anyways. I'm sure you've heard that line 100 times as well. But let's start there. Most of us know what a magician is, but for those that are unaware what a mentalist does, let's just talk about that a little bit.
Absolutely. So I guess the best way to think about it is, like how a magician pulls rabbits out of hats, a mentalist pulls thoughts out of heads, or in some cases put thoughts in heads in a really fun and fantastic way. So it's a little bit more psychological, but we still have a lot of fun. And we do get, people involved, people up into the show. So it's really interactive. It's a really engaging experience. And it's truly something that not a lot of people get to experience. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun to come bring the show to Estevan.
Now, did you always want to be a magician and a mentalist, or did you kind of get a start in one and then realize that the other thing is something you love equally?
Yeah, honestly, I got into it a little bit by accident. It was never meant to be the job, but it was a hobby that I had as a kid. I started off in magic, doing, the card tricks and the coin tricks and, the magic kits that all the kids get. And it just grew from there. And as I progressed through learning magic, I realized that I really enjoyed and I was really good at the mentalism aspect of it. So we took a little bit from the magic world. We took a little bit from, hypnosis. We took a little bit from kind of everything everywhere. And we turned it into a really interactive and engaging show that I think will get people out and out of their seats and having a great time.
So have you had a side interest in psychology then? Like, is that kind of how it branched out, or was that already something you had been thinking about in your life?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I took a whole bunch of psych and neuroscience courses in university. I almost had a minor in it. So that skill set and that knowledge base really plays well into what I'm doing on stage during these shows. And I think it really helps, expand the experience, really makes it, a little bit more of a deeper experience as well. Make sure that I understand what's happening with the people on stage and that they're having a good time as well.
So walk me through being a mentalist a little bit. I understand that there would be a lot of preparation to make sure that you're at the very least set up at the start to see if you can have some success. Just talk about that. Like, how much is there involved pre-planning to make sure that you have a good start?
Honestly, it's all about just making sure that everything is in place and ready to go. So effectively, the way it works for me is we walk into the venue, we get everything set up, and then from there, it's just a matter of making sure that all of the props and the settings and the circumstances are all in place so that when the show starts, I come out and I can engage with my audience in a meaningful way, and then that relationship is what helps drive through the rest of the show. So making sure that kind of everything, it's kind of like how when chefs talk about mise en place, right? Like it's all kind of set in one spot and you're all ready to go. So I don't have to worry about what comes next or what I'm doing. It's all automatic. I can just turn to my left, turn to my right, grab what I need, and start talking to the people in the crowd and engage with them and start having fun with them in the show.
And how satisfying is that when it does all work out, when you're starting your preparation for a trick or an illusion, and then when it comes to the final moment, like what's that like for you?
It's a lot of fun, but the thing that I really enjoy more than kind of like the finale or the completion of whatever I'm working on, the fun part for me is watching the people in the crowd experience the show. A lot of people expect that I like the laughs or the claps or the things like that, but the moments that I really enjoy are those little gaps, those little gasps where something's about to happen and you can see everyone go and they're just about to go wow or what, or just that moment where you can just see the astonishment and the amazement on their faces in that moment. That's the best part for me, is experiencing that with the people in the room.
And then when you can tell that things aren't going right, like, do you know way before the rest of the audience does? Because I imagine like there's got to be a lot of improv involved with working with people that you've never met before. Like, is there ways that you can kind of fix things, or once it kind of goes down a dark path, are you just stuck there?
That's a really great question. I honestly, it doesn't happen very much anymore because like I've said, I've been doing this for Geez, over a decade now. So a lot of practice makes perfect. But there are times when things do go sideways, and there are ways to recover. But to be completely honest with you, because I'm dealing with people and their input and that audience engagement during the show, it's always different. So I always have to be on my toes. I always have to be aware of what's going on. And for me, that's a lot of fun as well, because every show is different. I never know what's coming down the pipe, and I always have such unique experiences with the people in the room, because everyone in that room is going to be unique. A crowd in Estevan is going to be different than a crowd in Regina. It's going to be different than a crowd in Vancouver, in London, in Perth, Australia. So the fun part for me is that little bit of uncertainty, that little bit of improv, being able to interact with the people in the room, and not always know what's coming next. So I get surprised just as often as a lot of the people in the room do.
That's awesome. And then as you go around the world and you're performing your shows, like, do you ever have barriers with like the language or anything like that? Like, is that part of the equation as well?
It does make it more difficult, but we do find ways to try and include those circumstances as well. And there are things that kind of transcend language, things like pictures and emotions and conversations that can happen outside of that. Typically, I do perform just for English-speaking audiences, but we do come across, especially on the cruise ship contracts that I do, a lot of the people on those cruise ships aren't necessarily native English speakers, or in some cruise lines, because of who they cater to and who they advertise to, you get people from Europe, from South America, from other places around the world. And to be honest, it's a really interesting experience for me, because I get to meet and talk and engage with these people, not only in the show, especially on these cruise contracts, but outside the show as well. On the cruise ships, you're stuck with your audience for the 7 or 8 days you're on these ships, even after the curtain goes down. So because I get to engage with these people, I get to meet people from all over the world. I get to have these interesting conversations, and I get to learn a little bit about those people as well, which helps me down the road if and when I ever encounter someone similar along the way as well. So it makes it really interesting for me to have that really wide worldview and experience things along the way.
And then I have to imagine at maybe every show or at a few of your shows, you'll have someone that figures they know exactly how you did your trick. Does that happen quite often? And has anybody ever been on point with it?
So it does happen. I get a lot of people guessing. I get a lot of people guessing and throwing out all kinds of theories. And it's really interesting for me, because a lot of times the theories that they come up with are so convoluted and in depth, and the theories themselves are more impossible than the tricks. The one that I get a lot is, because we use a lot of people in our show, we have a lot of volunteers, a lot of interactions. The one question I get all the time is everyone a plant? To which my answer is, it would be impossible to not only have all of that organization to get everybody in on it all at once, but there's no way I could afford to pay any of those people. Yes, my friend Kelvin is here. He just hands me everyone as a plant, and he hands me a little plastic plant. So that's one of my favorites. I also get a lot of people saying that I have complex rigging in the ceiling with a bunch of mirrors and microphones. And they're shocked to see that I roll up in a little SUV and I have just a suitcase of gear. So it's really fun to kind of hear the strange theories that come out of the woodwork with this, because it's always, I don't think I've ever had the same explanation twice. And it's always really, really interesting, because a lot of people wind up being, pretty off base. But I'm pretty open about the show being, sign suggestion and good old fashioned trickery. And what that means is some of it is honest to goodness psychology. It's understanding how people think, how they make decisions. Some of it is suggestion, making you feel like you have choices or options, but I'm, kind of secretly psychologically pushing you in one direction or another. And some of it is honest to goodness deception. I'm fooling you, I'm tricking you. And my job is to combine those 3 elements in a way that makes the show not only fun and interesting and exciting, but also in a way that you can't tell which one is happening at that particular time. So we get a lot of interesting ideas and a lot of interesting thoughts, but really that's what it all boils down to, is sign suggestion, good old-fashioned trickery.
I love it. It's going to be so much fun. May 1st, tickets are available through the Estevan Arts Council, Henders Drugs as well. And we have 2 pairs of tickets to give away. We're doing that with the SUN102 global text line 634-1023. Keyword, I'm going to see if you can guess what our keyword is, Jeff.
Oh, it's rude to step on your toes. You got a rhythm going on.
Right. You don't want to do the guess? See, my plan was just to say whatever you said was to agree with you.
Oh, where's the fun in that?
I know. I know. Let's go with the good old fashioned abracadabra, spelt however
Beautiful.
people
Love
like.
it.
And yeah, May 1st. This is going to be so much fun, Jeff. I appreciate your time here today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to it.